Hello. Um, what you're looking at here is the cover of Troika. Now, uh, I first came across Troika as part of the Black Lives Matter charity bundle on Itch. And that bundle was like 4,000 different games and loads of tabletop role playing games and supplements and things. And you I got it, I had a look through it, and I kind of filed it away as something that I would get to play one day. The system is very much like Fighting Fantasy, but after that, I didn't really give it much more thought. And then at the beginning of this year, there was a Troika bundle on the bundle of holding, and there was loads of stuff in there. And I thought, oh well, yeah, okay, well, grab that. So I got the Troika bundle, and I saved it all, and again, didn't think much more of it. I'll get round to it one day, sort of thing. And then somebody through the blog asked me about solo rules for Troika. And then I thought, yeah, okay, I've got all this stuff. I'll have a look at it. Now, I had recently done solo rules for Warlock. Again, this is another sort of blog reader request. So, and that's a very, very similar system. It's all kind of fighting fantasy. Now, if I skip down to the character sheet, which is right near the end here, here you go. A character has got a skill, stamina, and luck. Um, and your background gives you some skills, what we call advanced skills, which you'd write in there. You have your background gives you a rank, plus your skill gives you a total. And it's a 2d6 system. You roll. Either you're trying to roll under or you're trying to roll over. It's they opposed rolls high wins, unopposed rolls it's low wins. And you, now weapons are they have these little matrix. So if you had a big heavy weapon, in each of these boxes here, you would have a run of numbers which will get to relatively high. If you had a small weapon, say a dagger, the numbers in the boxes would be relatively low. And then when you roll damage, you always roll a d6, but you cross-reference what you rolled with the weapon to find the damage in the box. Now it goes up to 7 plus because you can get a +1 on your damage, or um, so you're only ever rolling d6s, but you've got more variety. So yeah, small light weapons do have small numbers in the boxes. Big weapons have big numbers in the boxes. The inventory is quite interesting. You put the most important things at the top of your inventory and the least important things at the bottom. When you want to change equipment, you roll 2d6, and as long as you rolled higher than the item in your inventory, you can grab it and use it that round. If you didn't roll over the inventory's number, you grab it, but you can't use it that round. You spent the whole round sorting out your equipment. So your arrows would be number 1 and your bedroll would be number 12 because you rarely need to grab your bedroll in an emergency. So it's really kind of simple that way. The big thing about Troika is the initiative system. Um, characters, so everyone involved in a tactical situation throws tokens into a hat or a bag or whatever. Player characters throw 2 in. Something big and clever and dangerous would throw many in. I think a dragon throws 8 in. Something small and sort of cowardly or whatever would only throw 1 in. I think kobolds or goblins only throw 1 in. And you end up with this bag full of tokens, and one of them is the end of round token. And so you mix them all up, and then you put out a token, and if it's your token, you get to act. In theory, everyone could act multiple times in one round, and then the last token that comes out is the end of round, and then that all starts again. Also, what could happen is that dragon's 8 tokens could come out, and then the end of round, and no one got to act apart from the dragon in that round. So it's a real, almost like a fog of war sort of thing, where if that dragon is really on the ball, knows what it's doing, it goes bang, bang, bang. It acts multiple times. Your characters just it don't get to act before it's carrying out its plans, or all the characters can act and the dragon doesn't. Any combination is possible. Now, going back to being asked for solo rules for this, the simpler the game, often the harder the solo rules are to write to capture the flavour of the game when there's very little sort of meat on the game itself. So I'm looking at this thinking, well, how do I make this really interesting and feel like Troika when Troika feels like fighting fantasy? And so I wanted to lean into these kind of slightly weirder aspects of it. And in the bundle of holding, there were initiative token cards. So rather than just using scraps of paper or dice or whatever, um, they were suggesting using different coloured dice for each um, sort of character involved in the action. Now that doesn't work very well for me because I generally use virtual dice like the ones on screen. Um, so I suppose no, I can change the colour of the dice, but they're not going to. I can't draw one out at random. Um, but I was thinking about these card faces, and they give you these really nice card faces with the same kind of weird art. If I flick back a few pages, this art is very kind of retro 1960s, slightly psychedelic. It, Lots of it. If I skip to about a middle, we're going to the here you go. These it's all kind of like primary colours, kind of line art. Um, it's got a very distinctive style, eclectic style. Um, so I thought, okay, um, if they're using cards for the initiative system, why not go for a card-based oracle? So I've never made a card deck, so I thought I'd have a go. And these are my first attempts. So that's the card face. You use one dice quite a lot, and you use two dice. So I'm seeing these as the top of the pyramid is your 1d6. The bottom two are your 2d6 rolls, and you've also got the suit and the card value there, which aren't used by Troika, or not yet. But you could actually use these cards to play a game. Um, the values on here come from or derived from the one dice solar system by Carl Hendricks, which is Creative Commons 4. It's an open system, but I really really like it. And so you've got your sort of inspiration prompt here. Here it says deceptive plot, and below it you've got your yes no oracle. So an absolutely not would be kind of your no and. Um, the next card, so the prompt is technical challenge. There's a no. Now if I scroll down a few, here's a yes. That'd be kind of your yes and you got your dice rolls. Now this is just an initial sort of seeing if I could make the cards and get the template working. I'm going to fill in some more Troika-esque elements on the Oracle. Now, the 2d6, to get the best distribution for that, you want 36 or 72 cards. Now, I want to go to 72 cards, but that doesn't fit in with having 13 cards per suit and 4 suits. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to invent some more cards for each suit. So we're used to Jack, Queen, King, Ace. So I was thinking I could put on courtesan, dowager, bishop, vizier, and it build the cards up to 18 cards per suit. Four suits gives you 72 cards. 72 cards fits in nicely with getting the numerical distribution for 2d6. So all the combinations are in there, and then I can expand. Or having more cards also means that to get to your likelihoods, your sort of yes, the likely, unlikely, or whatever. If you've got more cards in the deck, what you can do is you can draw two cards, and if the question is likely to be um, more likely to be yes, then you take the most positive card, and if your result is more likely to be no, you take the the more negative card. So that way you've got your likelihoods, and if it's a 50-50, you just draw one card. Having a bigger deck means that you can you've got enough cards to do that, and then when you reach the end of the pack, you shuffle. Uh, Having these weird 18 card decks, 18 card suits means that actually some clever person could actually work out a game that a Troika card game that uses them all, or you could just play a really weird version of the uh, traditional games. Because you would still have four suits, you could still. I think you could probably play You could play poker with it. It's just the full houses would be a bit odd, and the runs. But anyway, this is what I'm working on at the moment. Um, so at the moment, yeah, it's a fairly simple Oracle system for a simple game, but lots of visual style. Everything's got the same card back at the moment. Now that hairstyle reminds me very much of the 1960s. I like this kind of um, the mask is quite dark looking to me. That's almost like stitch marks and a slashed face. It's kind of very um, sort of macabre, almost mixed in with the flowers. I quite like this card face. Uh, I'm going to create more of those, so there'll be a kind of random mix of card backs, and I'm going to develop these a bit more this week. I'm writing up the rules or the instructions for using it. So all of that, yeah, it's really quite fun to do. I will release it as a PDF first, and then sort out the getting actual cards printed. It's my understanding that 80 cards is the most you can squeeze into a tuck box. I'm looking at a deck of 72, so I'm under that limit. That all looks good. Now, what else is on this week? Oh, right, okay, yes. It wasn't a very good week for sales for Stars Without Number, um, but I also received the Lulu print proofs. Now, uh, I've got two different print proofs here. The top one with the glossy looking cover. Inside the can you hang on? I don't know if you can see these icons. They printed perfectly well. The Lulu cover, the Lulu still does saddle stitch. The Lulu proof, um, those same icons, I don't know, but they just come out as grey or beige boxes. Um, so that's not very good. So that needs reissuing. I want to change the cover. It feels weird. It feels kind of vaguely greasy. I'm really not impressed with that at all. Um, but as soon as that, I get, it's also horribly marked as well, which is rather disappointing. Um, so that will. Uh, oh, sorry, I think I'm. No, I didn't. Right. I got the other proof today. The sticky GM proof looks absolutely fine. Now that one can go on global distribution, which means that these pod books will be um, out in potential 40,000 stores. Sorry, 1 second. Um, so uh, yeah, one good one, one bad one. I will get that sorted. Um, I would quite like that. That's the proof for the global distribution of the Stars Without Number book, which is the one I'm going to have to fix. Now, those three sales means we're still inching up towards the 750. But again, everything is in place, waiting for my deal of the day for Stars Without Number. Now, the other something else I'm working on this week is the print on demand uh, files for Solo in the Dark. Now, was deal of the day. This is my only platinum title at the moment. Now, there's yes, you can see that, right? So you're seeing 4,300 free and non-free, and only 1,145 non-free. But most of these numbers, most of the big number, was from a bundle of holding. Now, if I can break that down, so these were the products sold through uh, drive-through, um, and so that's the 1,145 paid ones there. But now on the sales report, there's this thing of display bundle of holding sales. If I turn that on, you see the 3,223 of those. Now, the price doesn't show up here because you are paid directly by Alan Varney for those. You're not paid through drive-through, um, although all the fulfillment is done through drive-through. So, that is this big number, the 4,375. Um, I want to do the print on demand for this book because I reckon about 50% of all of those people, those 2,000 people, have got the PDF. I'm wondering how many of those would actually quite like to upgrade to a print on demand, a physical book. Uh, so yeah, this is the one. I'm doing this one because it's a potential large audience. Um, and yeah, the book isn't very expensive. The PDF, the print on demand will be a 9.99. I can afford to give a discount to any existing customers and still make more profit than I do off the PDF. So yeah, that's it. That's what I'm working on. This. Oh no, there's one more thing. I've since December, I've been working on solo rules for Wicked Ones, which is the kind of reverse dungeon theory where the characters play the monsters and the biggest threat is the invading adventurers. Um, I've been working on that since uh, late December. I had some ups and downs. In the middle of the end of January, I just deleted everything I'd written and started again. That is now with the Wicked Ones community, and they are doing the playtesting, and there's about 10 guys that are getting stuck into that. So that's another exciting project. It's now kind of off my desk, waiting for the playtest. I've got a few bits of feedback. I can, you know, we'll let that playtest run for a little bit longer, and then I'll feed that all back in and update that. So that's another book that is in the production queue, and there's quite a nice size community building around Wicked Ones. So yep, that's something that's coming up in the near future. Hopefully, yeah, maybe February, beginning of March. So yeah, I've got one in playtest, one in production, one going to pod. Um, and yeah, so that's my diary really for this week. There's nothing really new or innovative going on. Um, yep, so that's it. That is my full week. Um, and yeah, I will get the new proofs done. I'm going to get Sticky GM out for global distribution, and if I get any figures from that, I will let you know. Oh, and the final thing is, I finally had an email from Lightning Source. They're starting to sort out my account, so it looks like they're well behind with setting up new accounts. So that is another bit as well. So yeah, plans, for 2021, it's all moving forward. Okay, so that's it. I hope you all have a good week.